Welcome back to Lily's Crafty Corner, and I'm Lily. What we're here today I'm going to do is share with you some things that I have been doing regarding making ephemera and also altering envelopes and making envelopes. And I just thought it would be fun to have a little tutorial. I just would like to show you what I did and then show you how we did it, or how I did it. This is an envelope that was given to me with some things in it from a friend, and I've used the things that were in it, the pieces for ephemera, and then I chose to alter the envelope, and it was simple. I used some stenciling, some papers, and some other pieces that I printed off the internet that were under public domain and free images, and without the copyright free. And they really came out and worked out very well. And this is one of them. This can also be used in a larger journal you make, or just as is to store things. This other one is one that I actually received a swap in, and I covered the front. I also did some of the same stenciling and put the little pieces on, and it really kind of makes something really simple and sweet and easy. And the music paper actually was, I have purchased several pieces of sheet music, and rather than using up the sheet music, I've been just making copies of it and using it. And most of this stuff that I've purchased, at flea markets and at thrift stores, have been post or pre this is the most recent one, 1961, but a lot of the stuff is from 1913. And when you use it, really nobody knows what you're using, because you kind of you're not sharing somebody's music per se, because it's unidentifiable when you kind of do this way. So, but it is, like I said, it is old, and it's from old music books from thrift stores. Then one of the other things is, this is one of the envelopes that I also made. I made with from old calendar, and one of the leftover pieces, which I plan on sewing the one side and then gluing it onto a page, and it really came out quite nice, and I'm very pleased with it. So anyway, and here are a few of the other things that I did. So what we're going to do, and then I just wanted to show you too, and these are things that I had gotten, which was a freebie from one of my junk journal sites that I groups on Facebook, and I just printed them out, and I used the music sheet underneath it, and I printed it out on vellum. Now the vellum, unfortunately, even though it says you can print on it and that you can use ink on it, it's still smeared. So what I thought was, well, you know what, these are supposed to be antique-ish. They were a free download, so I just knew that they weren't going to be quite as sharp, the images, but actually I like it very much. Because they really, I think, give you that definite old world look to them. So that's fine. And then this is a pocket that I used, that I actually had printed out on the music paper. It was a download that I paid for from Genevieve Designs, Genevieve Harrison. And it really came out cute. And then I threw the vellum over the top of that. So anyway, let's get started on how to do, what to do with some of these things. And I'm going to take and put these off to the side. To save some time, I did pre-cut the calendar, and I'll show you the calendar that I used. And here, let me just get, see if I can just kind of put everything sort of back together quickly so we can move along here. And these are just, this is an envelope that I had also that I redid. And this one actually didn't have a top to it. When I opened it, I had to, unfortunately, couldn't do it the way I wanted to. But as far as having the flap, and I thought that was just kind of nice to have as a pocket for a journal. The other thing is I also love Diane Reevely, and she does a lot of snarky stuff. And it says, but this one isn't, and says, if it doesn't make you feel fabulous, don't do it, don't buy it, don't keep it. And even though it's a little on the snarky side, I kind of like that. And then on this one, I was actually, somebody had put in some index cards when she sent me her swap, I guess, to help stabilize the swap. So I used that with my stenciling, and stenciled the front and back, ripped up some paper there and put it on, and then used some of the things that I had downloaded that were from the public domain and copyright free. And then I have a Tim Holtz stamp here that I used. Always know in your heart that you are bigger than anything that can ever happen to you. And I just think that's another nice sentiment, especially if you're doing these in journals, not maybe necessarily for cards, but I think definitely for journals, they're great. And so let's get going here. So what I did with and I just want to show you this happens to be one of the calendars that I used, and I actually, this one, not all of them can you do it. You can't all use the front and back cover. This one, I think I want to keep the back cover to decoupage or collage with, but I'd like to cut down the papers, and it just really is kind of nice. Now, here, let me just show you here what we're going to do. Now, I already pre-cut some of these, and I've already written out where they're to be scored, so we can do this quickly. And here, we'll do this one. Is this the one that's 5.5? Yeah, the 5.5, actually, I did 2. And what I will tell you, sometimes with the punch here, it actually is easier. 2 3/8 is where I cut them at 5.5 square, and it's going to score at 2 1 2 3/8. And the thing I will mention is that even if you want to pile, because the paper is so thin on most calendars, if you put 2 or 3 together, it will cut better. So I'm going to do the first punch there, and then I'm going to score it down, and then you're going to turn it counterclockwise, and you're going to line it up, and it will line up just right with where they want you with the score line here, if you line it up with this little piece that projects here on the top, the first piece, and you just punch it again. You go through, and you're going to score on line A, and then you're going to turn it counterclockwise, and you're going to do the same thing where you line it up. And you see, because what happens is if you do it with the one layer, it may not come out as, it may not cut it because it's too thin. So let me line this up a little bit better. Right. Okay, and then I may have already done that, so we just did it twice, which is no big deal. And I just ran it through, and it does come through on the other. Because it's so thin, it will come through. Here we go, and we'll do the same. So just remember to go counterclockwise, and there you go. That did work. Now, the other thing is if you want to round the edges, there's that little spot on top. And the main thing, again, is when you do it with the 2 pieces of paper lined up, it does do it a little bit better. There you go. I'm just going to stick that off to the side. I did cut some others, but I don't think I need to go through and do those also. So we'll just work with these two that I did here to speed things up, and I'm going to clean this up. And I have this little bin that I got at the dollar store, and I like to use it when, just a little tip, it says Flowers and Garden. I got it during the summer months. And what I like about it, it's a little bit big, but you can, when I'm working on a project, or when I'm doing ephemera, I like to put all the scraps in here so that when I am finished with working on that particular project, if I want to use the extra pieces to make something else with, I can. And if I don't want to, I can chuck them along with the little bits and pieces, because if I don't use any of them while I'm crafting, then there's no need to keep them, because you know what? You end up with tons and tons. So on the score lines, you just go around and you score. This is all kind of basic stuff that we do, but I just thought it would be nice to show that if you had to make it. Now, I know that there are ways of doing this without using a punch board. However, I don't want to say that I'm lazy, but I just feel it's just easier for me to know the punches and just go around, and it works quick. Now, it's already, you think, well, okay, this is already decorated. Well, when we're done, when I'm done, I will just give you, I'm just going to put that to the side, and we'll let that all dry, and then we'll work on finishing decorating it. Now, on the next piece here, these are 2 envelopes. Now, sometimes I prefer to work with these because they're actually easier to cover. But the first thing I'm going to do with this, even before I use any paper, is I think it would be fun to just take some stenciling. Now, these stencils, you can use stencils from the dollar store. You can use stencils from that come. I know you can buy the stencils, whether they're Tim Holtz or whoever's. You can buy them and use them. This one that I'm going to start with, these are actually Diane Revley, and I just love her stuff. She's a kind of a character, but she's just a lot of fun. So I'm going to take the ink here that is Tim Holtz's Walnut Stain. I find that this is a little bit darker than the photo, the vintage photo, and I never know which side I'm really supposed to do this on. But I try to figure out the side that looks the flattest because it'll sit on the bottom there. But anyway, I'm just going to start on this one a little different. We're going to just do it on the side, and I forgot to bring over my pieces. Okay, but see how nice that comes up. So you don't need, even if you just want to use a dollar store stamp like I have here, we can take that. Not stamp, that was a missed thing, a dollar store stencil. They've actually started having some. I found some on a wheel. I didn't bring those out. I'm going to put this on with black ink to see if it, here, we'll just do that to get the butterflies going. There. And they work great. Very dramatic. And I think it's a lot of fun. It's easy. Again, if you don't have one of these little daubers, you can always use go to the dollar store and get the makeup, the little sponges for the makeup. They work great. I find that they disintegrate a little fast, but it's not too big of a deal. And you're just going to catch me getting up and grabbing this because I forgot to have it within arm's reach. Here we go. So it's a lot of fun. So now with this, you can do a few things. Well, what I'm going to do is, because I want to put some other things here, I'm going to use this one that looks like a lot of bubbles. I'm just going to put this on next. So you can, of course, and you can just kind of do it. You don't have to even do it. I even did this with the journals. I just made a couple of journals, one for my granddaughter and one for my grandson's girlfriend. And I didn't, I used these on some of the pages where they would do the journaling, because I used composition books and then altered them on the inside and out, and they really, really came out cute. In fact, the one I did for my granddaughter is I've already done a video on that. So I'm going to leave that. Then I'm going to take, and if you can get one, oh, here it is, here it is. If you can get one of these, I find they're difficult to find. It took me a couple of months to actually find some place where I could get it. I couldn't get it in any of the craft stores, and any place that I really wanted to get it where I could get free shipping and so forth. I finally found it on Amazon after a few attempts to get it kind of at the price I wanted to pay, because I'm one of those that I want to buy them, but I don't. I certain have to have a certain price range, especially if I've seen it before at that price. I try to get back to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and what's nice is I had taken from this book, and it's Italian music. As you can see, it's all in Italian. And there was actually some watermarks on it, and I kind of like that. So when I put it in my printer, you know, the copy machine part, it really worked out good. Now, I think I just did that a little short. Yeah. Don't need it quite so wide, but I don't want it so, I want it to have, a little overlap. Good, we'll just go back up. It's not a big deal. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just move on. Sometimes it's doesn't matter, really. And other times, well, like this one, I can just glue it down. It's not a big deal. And in fact, I'm probably going to end up cutting, well, I want the watermarks. So let me see if I can play with that a little bit. If not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off from here about. And there we go. Now, I'm going to rip it a little bit more because it's not really ripped enough. But what's nice is when you're doing with the ruler, the tear guide, it kind of, if you want it to be, you know, a little bit more, especially when you're trying, neat. And then if you're trying to do it from a book or something like that, it actually helps you to tear it straight. So I kind of like that. Now I'm going to use the walnut inking. Now I didn't do the back, but you would do the same thing, kind of the same procedure with the back of it. And I just don't think that I need to. There we go. And then I just like to brush it with the ink, because then when you put that down, see how nice that came out? It kind of gave the swirl. I like it a little there, a little bit more. I think that really looks cute, right? So, and that's, you know, I gotta say, you know, using this super cute all the time, it drives me nuts. Because I don't want it, because to me, cute does not always mean something is pretty or doable or whatever. Pleasant. It's like when you're trying to keep from saying something is ugly. But anyway, that's just me, and that's how, you gotta remember, I'm older. I've reached the 70. I'm going to be 71 shortly, in the 21st of September. So I come from a little bit different background. Anyway, let's get this. Crap, I'm going to save that for something else, definitely. And this is what this is for usually is for vinyl or for wallpaper. And actually, my daughter Lindsay's the one that started playing with these when she was getting into the vinyl and stuff. So she bought a bunch of them, and of course I was a recipient of one, and I love it. So here we go. So we've kind of got that, but now we want to put on some other things that are, now let me see, I had. Okay, now this I'm going to use it because I received it in a swap a while back from someone. And I really thought that it was kind of nice. She had I don't know if these were her own or she did them from something else, but they were gifted to me in a swap. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit with these. And because I'm working in the Brown family, we're just going to ink her up. And, you know, I could be used, I mean, you can put lace and so forth. In fact, I have some lacy and things to work with that I could pull out. But here, let's just see. Maybe we'll put this down here like that. And what I think I want to do, but I want to wait. Now, I have this little lunchbox I got at, let me see, I'll bring it back in a little bit more. Okay, so you can see it. All right, this lunchbox I got at the thrift store. I think I paid $2 for it. And it was actually brand new. It's an Aladdin. It didn't have the thermos, but it was actually still had the tags on it. And what you're going to see in here, oh gosh, these are just a lot of stuff that I stick in here sometimes when I don't know what to do with it. And what I actually have in here are some things that I have done previously. And when we do a swap, when I do swaps, I like to put, like when we get, they gift us, like I had, this was gifted from a swap. What I like to do is put it in here like this, and I leave it with the things that I'm working on. Now, sometimes they're doable, they're workable for what I'm using, and sometimes they're not. The other thing that I like to do is I like to get the white reinforcements and I color them with the oxide inks or the distress inks, whichever. But, and sometimes I throw receipts in there. Why? I'm not quite sure. That may have been just trying to clean up my area. Oh, this is from some fabric I bought at Hobby Lobby, and what I'm going to do is I want to use this for some ephemera. So yes, you can save things. I have some laces here, but I don't know if I have any, and I have some flowers that I've worked with recently. I don't see any ephemera that I really want to, as far as laces that I want to use. But I will pull out, you know what, I think, methinks. Oh, maybe I could, no, I don't want that. Oh, that's what I was looking for before. See, I knew I had it in there. And I looked in here. Okay, I don't quite see totally what I want for that. So, I am not going to use it. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to put that back here for now because I don't see, I was looking for some lace, but I don't have anything in there that's stained that I have done. So we're just going to go in here, and I'm going to pull out, this is stuff that I got off the internet that was all said public domain, so we're just going to go with some of it. And some of it didn't. We'll get rid of that. That's for my personal private. Okay, this was all public domain. We could do some of that. No, I don't want that. Okay. Did have some things already done up that were under all that public domain. Let me just see. Oh, here they are. And I already did these up. What I did was I printed them out. These were under the free public domain, and I used them. So there was nothing on them that were watermarked or said that they were for sale. So we went to town on those, and I had some others. Where are they that I kind of liked a little better for this? Here we go. And because I like, I was going to say, because I like a lot of the grunge and the steampunk and shabby chic and that kind of stuff, I do like to play with some of these things. I could put, here's one we could use. Actually, the bottom was kind of flat. Or I can just cut that in half and just, that's what we'll do. I have a pair of scissors here. We're gonna cut this in half, or a little less than half, and I'll turn it upside down. And I can make it a little more round. There we go. And we have the ink here. We'll just ink her up a little bit more. Ink up some more. Yeah, so it's, I'll tell you, it's really hard to find this stuff that's supposedly public domain and copyright free, because you have to be careful, because I've had it happen on a couple of them where I can't use them, not, at least not, you know, to show anything, because they unfortunately are watermarked, and you don't see, and it comes up saying that they're in the public domain and it's under the copyright free, and then you print it and you see watermarks. And I gotta tell you, it really kind of aggravates me, because it's not right. But anyway, like I said, these did come up that way, so I'm good. And then what also which I didn't do here, we'll just do this. Now if I had, I wish I had brought out some of the laces that I have tea stained and so forth to use, then I would have shown that. But you can do that. Now one of the other things that I like to do is I like to sew the papers and stuff. The only thing is, when you have an envelope that you're altering, it makes it hard to sew it. But if you're doing one that you're making, before I had put this together, I could have sewed lace down the sides and so forth, which we didn't do, but that's okay. And let me see, did I put enough ink on, enough glue on this? This is art glitter glue, but I have it in one of these little jobby things. Well, then it's what I like is that they're smaller. You can use them. They're on Amazon. I think you get 10 for like $9 or something silly, or 12 for $9, something silly like that. So then when I go to do the back, because what I like to do is when I use these in my journals, I like to have it all done, and then I also will stencil the inside here, which I think we'll do with this one. We'll change this up a little bit. I'm going to, oops, just make sure you have a good grip on it, which I don't always do, but I'm just going to do this. There, so it's okay. I'm not even worried about that, because what we're going to do now is take some of this, and I am going to just do the little ones, if I can. Let's see if we can just get an array of the little ones. There we are. And just make sure you have a good grip on it. Sometimes people will, there, I like that, right? And then maybe on this one, I'll just cover that up with a little bigger one. I wasn't quite neat enough for that, but that's good. And then we're going to get the little one here. Let's do it this way. There. So even if you get a little smudge or whatever, and I'm using the Memento ink on this, and as you can see, oh, I see what I did. Sees what I did. So we're gonna go with a cleaner spot. I realized I didn't have it on the same side that I originally did it. That's okay, because look what happened. We ended up with more stuff. I have that there. I have a little smudgy there, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that at all, because we can take some, let me see if I have a piece of scrap here I even want to use. I can do that. And just do this. do this. Put that piece this way, which we'll do. We'll ink it up with the, nope, I did it with the, I'll do it with the black. I did it with the black, so we'll just go with it. And I'll take a little art glitter glue. Put that on. That's the only thing I don't like with the Memento, is that it tends to take longer to dry. So therefore you end up with this kind of stuff, but it's okay. Yeah, Tim stuff, the other glues tended, or ink tends to dry a little bit faster, but you don't smudge it around. So we're just going to do this like that. We're not done. And then I'm going to take, because I had, I believe it's in here somewhere. Let's see. Yes, here it is. And I just think it will be fun to add a little color. I am going to go right where this is from when I was the leftover. That's why I say I like to leave the leftover, when I'm doing a project, I like to leave these little bits of pieces hanging out, because when you do that, you end up that you have these things to play with when you're yeah. And we'll just take a little glitter glue and we'll put that on. There you go. And these things, as you know, are perfectly imperfect. We don't always have. And then one of the other things I want to do, I'm going to wipe this down, because that's what I should have done before I reused this one, and I didn't. That's why we ended up with the smudging. So here we go. We have that little smoochy smudge in there. So now I'm just going to take this, wipe this down. There we go. And what I want to do with it is I'm not going to do it on this side. I'm not going to finish inking here. And as you can see, some of it came through, which is fine. But when I go to finish this up, we will. And what I want to do here is I'm going to take some of this Bo Bunny paste, glitter paste, and I'm going to just take just a tad, just a smidge, because you don't need a lot, and I'm not going to tape it down. You can if you feel the need, but I don't. And I'm just going to take a little bit of paste, which is probably 10 times more than what I need, but I'm going to put this down, and then I'm going to take the paste, and I'm just going to put it. Now, if I get some that goes off onto the side, it's not a big deal. There's 2 ways of handling it. And here we go. Look at that. Isn't that darling? That's what I call sweet. And then I can take and kind of line this up as best I can on here. And even if it goes over a little, I don't mind. I only have 2 of these pastes right now. Actually, I got them at Tuesday Morning, which, by the way, I don't have a Tuesday Morning near. Oh, I'm making a mess. Tuesday Morning near me. However, when I go to Florida, and when I have a friend that I visit there frequently, and so what we're going to do now is just take my little wipe, and I'm going to gingerly get that off. There, and it's just going to look more like I did stickles than anything else. So again, I'm not worried about it. And it dries relatively quick. So I'm just going to give it a little smush to make, there we go. But I think it came out great. So you might want to be a little more careful than I was when I was redoing it, you know, going over, but it came out cute. And this is just one of the few ideas that you can do. There's so many things that you can do with the envelopes. Now, the one that I used with this one, I want to do something a little different. Oh, goodness, I made a mess. I'm good at that, by the way. I'm very good at making a mess. So what I like to do is, again, if you you know, you don't have to have a lot of the name brand stencils or anything. If you happen to have them, that's fine. But the Dollar Tree ones work well. You only have, the main thing is you have to pay attention. I should have probably taped them down, but I really didn't want to. Oh, let's get that in there. There we go. So let me get another thing. Usually I use a different kind of cloth, and I should have brought that out. But this just kind of cleans up the workspace. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll wipe this off to make sure. The glitter is a mess, let me tell you. That makes, but that's why I don't like to use it on the glitter paste. I don't like to use them on the good ones. On these others that I pay a little bit more for, I'd rather not have to deal with that. Let's just do a quick wipe down. Then I will take these to the sink when we're all done and do that. Now, this one here, we can do several things too. And I think what'll be fun, even though it's, I think I can do this without being so neat. I just want to, yeah, I want this to look a little more. Now, on this one too, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to just do the front side and then glue this down. What I prefer to do is to put them in the journals and have them so that they, and I put them on with a clip, with a paper clip that I also alter. And it just kind of looks nice this way too. I think it just gives them a better, they can, just more for you to decorate and more to look pretty and that kind of thing. So what I think I'm going to do, even with this one, I think we're going to do a little stenciling on this too. Where am I at with that stencil? Which one do I want to use? Let's use, oh, I don't see the other one. I'll use the bubbles. It'll work. We don't need any. Now, if I just put it in here like this, I think it'll work great. I probably could be using maybe more of a pastel-y color. You can do that. This is just more for demonstration because I didn't bring out other colors. And here we go. Yeah. There it is. Now, that doesn't look so pretty, but, or cute, but we're going to take care of that. There are things to use to take care of that, to remedy that, right? And one of the things that we can do is to add, and I don't have to, I can use one of these other birds. Here, we'll use this little, here, maybe I'll use the cardinal. It's more of a reddish pink, but that works. Oh, I just made a mess of the other guy's tail. Oh, I'm not doing such a hot job. I should have probably cut this out and then tore it out, but it's all right. Here we go. There. I'll just rip that off, and I just lost the other guy's tail. What can I tell you? So to make him look not so bad, just inking, I don't know, to me, I know it's a little messy, and a lot of people don't, some people don't like to ink, but I like to ink, and I think inking sometimes just gives things, and I'm going to layer here. I think it'll be fun. Just want to do something that's a little fun. And what else can I layer in there? Oh, we have the I'm just using, again, I didn't pull out a ton of stuff. I just thought I would pull out a couple of things and we just go back and forth with it. Here, let me get another piece of this, but I want this to be more square, I think. Like a 2 by 2 almost. I don't know if that's going to be 2 by 2, but there we go. Nope, I almost did it again. And then I'm also going to do the stencil with the paste, but I might do the white paste. I have another knife. Again, I didn't want to have, let me see. I'll put that there. That kind of is cute, right? And maybe since it's going to go sideways, most likely, we'll turn this. Here we go. We'll turn it this way and do this. And maybe I'll take that off. And maybe we'll lose a little bit of his tail. Oh, I like that much better already. So we're going to use a little more Tim's ink. There, I think I like that. I don't want to put any flat backs or anything like that on there. And then let me get this down. And again, if I had pulled out some lace, I would have done that because I actually do have my hot glue gun out here. My hot glue all ready to go, and I didn't bring out really lace that I could use, which I can't believe I did that. But that's all right. I'm not going to go hunting for it. I'm not going to get stressed or aggravated over that I didn't do what I planned on doing quite, but that's okay. It's giving you an idea of what to do, how to make this ephemera. And the reason I like to do these things, and I don't sometimes finish them totally up, like I'm not going to totally finish this up, and there's a reason. And the reason is because I haven't decided where it's going yet. So once I know where I'm going to be using it, then I find that it's easier to decide on how to finish them off totally. So that's why on this one and on the other one, plus I have to let the paste thoroughly dry before I turn it over. And then there's, like I said, there's more things you can add. I can keep going. I mean, honestly, when you're doing these things, you can keep going forever. I mean, you never have to stop. It just, to me, it's just I want to try and just get the butterflies in the white there. Now I have to, here, let me take the nastiest one of these and put that in there. And then I want to cover this up because I certainly don't want to, I left it open far too long, so I really need to get 30 lashes with a wet noodle for that. But now I'm going to do this one. And I have another knife. And what we're going to do, this one I'm going to be a little, this one doesn't have as much glitter. I don't think it has any glitter. But really and the only thing I'm finding with this particular stencil, and that's why I think I was having issues, is that it's sticky. And I was even turned it over on the other side thinking, well, maybe the other side. They're both sides. But so you just have to be a little more cautious with it. So let's just pull this off. And voila, I really like it. And actually the little plastic knife, the grooves left a little something there. So that's okay. It's always okay. This is one of the few things I really love about crafting, especially I used to worry about everything being perfect. And that was my first round of crafting. And that was when I was in my 30s, and even in my 20s when I first married, and we really didn't have any money, and I was always trying to have nice things. You know, we had a baby, and I wasn't working full time. I was working, actually didn't work for the first 5 months, and then I went back to work, and I was just trying to work enough to keep the bills paid, have a few extra dollars, and save. Yeah. So anyway, with that being said, and of course pay a babysitter, and with all that being said, I did a lot of crafting, but everything had to be perfect, and when I couldn't get things perfect, and I just wasn't going to craft anymore. And then I started up again in my mid-30s, and I guess I went through the same thing. Everything wasn't perfect, and well, I started a few years ago. Oh, actually about 3 years now since I retired. I started back crafting. And guess what? I realized things don't have to be perfect. Don't put that added stress on yourself. Just enjoy. Just be creative. Now, like I said, with this one, there's other things I could put on here. But for right now, we're going to let that dry. Let me just check here. I think these are still a little tacky, but they're coming, and it just gives you an idea of what you can do. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. And I will tell you I don't see the price on these, but I think they were around $3 at Tuesday. Oh, here it is. $2.99. I wasn't telling a story. Wasn't telling a fib. There it is. $2.99 Tuesday morning. And so if you get lucky and you can find things, also if you go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, just use the 40%. And every once in a while you get that 50% off. So just use those. I just learned to save money as I went along, and had, as a stash for whether it was $2 or $3 a week. Even now, being retired and on a quote and unquote, as my mother-in-law before she passed away, quote and unquote, on a fixed income, just put a few dollars away every month, every week, and then when you have a few and you want to use your 50 or 40% off coupons at these places, use them and buy maybe just one thing and see what you really need or what you really want or what will make you happy when you're in your crafting life, what will make you happy. And this will help you a lot to get the things that you need. I have a lot of supplies. However, a lot of them I have purchased over a period of time and waited for sales or waited for, the proper coupon to get what I wanted. So I'm very happy. And like I said, just go, and if you have a printer and we bought a new printer, an HP, where you pay them, I think it's like $5 or $6, $5.99, $4.99, whatever it is a month, and you can print so many pages. It really is, and they send you the ink soon as because it's Wi-Fi activated. So when you get low on ink, or when they see that you're getting low on ink or close to starting to get low on ink, they're going to send it to you automatically. And it just makes it nice. I don't print out a lot, but if I print out 20 or 30 sheets in a month to do some of these things, it's great. The only thing, again, I will tell you to try and get a lot of the images that are, I search under copyright-free images or public domain, that kind of thing. And just be careful, because I've had a couple of things come up that weren't, that were watermarked, and I was really angry because I don't feel that those things should be coming up in something that I'm looking for that says, I do buy downloads, I do buy them, but every once in a while, I'd like to have some things that are free. And I think that especially if we have crafters that don't have a lot of extra, disposable income for that, then it's just really kind of not fair to have these things keep popping up. So just be diligent in making sure that you don't have the things that are that have copyright and so forth, just because it just give you a big headache if you use them. So anyway, especially if you're going to sell. I don't sell, but still I don't want the headache of something that I might be sharing that somebody says, oh, well, that, you know, well, if it was, it shouldn't, it didn't come up watermarked, and it didn't come up that there was, it came up under public domain, so maybe that's where you got it from. I don't know. But I'm just saying. So I'm just very happy with this. This is just the beginning. This doesn't have to end here. Again, I don't know where it's going to go. So again, I need to have everything dry before I finish the back. But when I do the back part here, I really hope that I know where I'm putting it so that it will, you know, go, and I can use things that are apropos to what I'm actually, where I'm putting it. And the same thing with this one. Oh, I didn't, actually it's almost dry. It didn't hurt it. And I like the way the butterflies came out. And again, this was just from the dollar store. The, where is it? Do I have the, oh yeah, here's the this is the package that the stencil sheet came in. And here, this one. Yeah, I have to clean it. But this is what it came in, and I just thought it was great. I picked it up and I'm very happy with it. Actually, I've used it several times. So it's not, so it is, you can reuse it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed what I did today. I hope it's something that you'll think about doing. I have some more ephemera pieces I'd like to share and do with you. And I will be doing those in the near future. So anyway, I hope you have a crafty day. And thanks for watching. And please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and hit the little bell. And hopefully you'll come back. Thanks.